Shrimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, Text 18. Kuntiyo Vacha, Namaste Purusham Tattvadyam, Ishwaram Prakrite Param, Alakshyam Sarvabhutanam, Antar Bahir Avasthitam. Srimati Kunti said, O Krishna, I offer my obeisances unto you, because you are the original personality and are unaffected by the qualities of the material world. You are existing both within and without everything, yet you are invisible to all. So Queen Kunti is a queen, a pure devotee, a very erudite, scholarly person, and she knows Krishna as who he is, as a supreme personality of Godhead. So before starting her request to Krishna to stay back in Hastinapur for a little bit more time, she is glorifying Krishna. And this is a conversation where it's a um, one-way conversation where Kunti Devi is speaking to Krishna, sharing her heart, but the sharing of the heart starts initially with glorification. So in this glorification, she's mentioning Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, understanding that he is within as Paramatma, without as Bhagavan and Brahma Jyoti. He is unaffected by this material world, and she's offering her respects to him, although by age and by relationship, materially speaking, Krishna is younger. But she understands and acknowledges Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There are many people who say that, oh, Krishna was just another flamboyant person, who knew this and knew that. And later on, he was made into God, which is not true at all. We see Vyasadeva, we see, Vyasadeva as he's writing the Bhagavad Gita, compiling it, he says, Bhagavana Vacha. We see Asita, Devala, Narada, great personalities referring to Krishna as God. And we see here Queen Kunti, his contemporary, his relative, yet she is also referring to him as God. So when people bring in these very futile logic that, oh, Krishna was just another human being, these are our answers to them. That even when he was on this planet, even those who are close to him, those who had the eyes to see it and the knowledge of understanding, knew Krishna is God. And Queen Kunti is no ordinary person. She's not a dullard. Although we are present before Queen Kunti, although he is present before Queen Kunti as her nephew, he was also within her and everyone else. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, text 15, the Lord says, I am situated in everyone's heart, and only due to me one remembers, forgets, and is cognizant. Through all the Vedas, I am to be known because I am the compiler of the Vedas and I am the teacher of the Vedanta. Right? It's a very beautiful verse from Bhagavad Gita. I'll just quickly read it. Sarvasya chaham riddhi sannavishto. Matta smriti jnana apohanamcha. Smriti, memory, jnanam, knowledge, apohanamcha, forgetfulness. Vedescha sarver ahame vedyo. Of all the Vedas, I am to be known. Vedanta krit vedavid evachaham. Right? I am the teacher and compiler of Vedanta. So Krishna couldn't be more direct than this. So this is what Prabhupada is referring in the purport. And this is known to people who are Krishna's devotees and who are knowledgeable in the Vedic system. Then Queen Kunti goes on to say, okay, anybody wants to read? Aparna, would you like to read? Text 19.
Text 19. Maya javanikachanam ajnana doshajam avyam na lakshaye mudha drishya nato natyadharo yatha. Being beyond the range of limited sense perception, you are the eternally irreproachable factor covered by the curtain of deluding energy. You are invisible to the foolish observer, exactly as an actor dressed as a player is not recognized.
Thank you very much. Being beyond the range of limited sense perception, Krishna's name is Adhokshaja. Adho Akshaja, beyond the range of limited sense perception. What is our limited sense perception? The ear is capable of hearing between 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. The eyes are capable of seeing between a certain range of light. We can't see infrared, we can't see ultraviolet, right? So we have limited sense perception. And within that limited sense perception, with material eyes, one can't understand Krishna, right? Your eternally irreproachable factor covered by the certain diluting energy. So those who try to approach Krishna through material means, Krishna is always beyond their ability, right? Because Krishna is not material. It is being swayed by Lord Brahma. Then one can be traveling at the speed of mind. A Muni can be traveling at the speed of mind and still not be able to understand Krishna. But Sudurlabham for a Muni, but he is Adurlabham to his Atma Bhakto, to his dear devotees. Devotees think of Krishna, Krishna is like, yes, what can I do for you? Right? So one who tries to capture Krishna with their intelligence and so-called mental abilities and faculties, no chance. But those who surrender to Krishna, Krishna is very much available to them. You are invisible to the foolish observer. People who take the microscope, telescope, and try to see God, not going to happen. It's not, he's not empirical. Exactly as an actor dressed as a player is not recognized. So that's why, you know, uh, Duryodhana wanted to capture Krishna and arrest him. He saw Krishna with two hands, two legs as just another human being. And Krishna showed his Vishwarup form. At that point, an intelligent person should have said, sorry, not going to fight this war. This is God on the other side. But he's so stupid. Even after seeing that, he fought the war, lost it, lost his life, lost his, things that he could have enjoyed. So this is the foolishness of a materialistic person, that they can't see God. When people say, show me God, the point is, if you're materialistic, sorry, you can't see God. But you anoint your eyes with the balm of spirituality, with the balm of surrender and love, and you can see God. And this is not, I'm just quoting Lord Brahma, our favorite poet, who says it's a Brahma Samhita, that when your eyes are anointed with the love of Godhead, that's when you can see God face to face. Very beautiful poetic way of saying. Okay, next verse. Sneha Mataji.
20.
Oh, go ahead. No problem. Whoever, please read.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभुजी
Hare Krishna Mataji.
तथा परमहंसानां मुनीनाम अमलात्मनां भक्तियोगविधानार्थ कथ पश्येम हि स्त्रियः. You yourself descend to propagate the transcendental science of devotional service unto the heart of the advanced transcendentalists and the mental speculators who are purified by being able to discriminate between matter and spirit. How then can we women know you perfectly?
So this is very special, right? When Krishna talks about himself, he speaks about himself. When his devotees speak, they speak from a certain angle of love. He says, you yourself descend to propagate the transcendental science of devotional service. I'm going to share a Birbal Akbar story. Now, I don't know if it is accurate or not, but I'm going to share it anyway. One time, Akbar asked Birbal, why does your God, personally come? Why can't he just send some prophets and stuff? Like in our religion, we have our prophet coming in, but in your religion, it seems like God personally comes. So Birbal, as he always does, wanted to show Akbar why. So he invited Akbar to a swimming pool area, like a lake-like thing. And there, Akbar's own grandchild was there. And Birbal put the grandchild in the water. And Akbar, without asking his guards or anything, immediately jumped in the water to save his grandchild. And Akbar was very upset. It's like, how dare you push my grandchild into the water? I'm going to cut off your head. I'm going to do this, do that. And Birbal was smiling. He's like, I just wanted you to see why God comes down for his devotees. See, you have so many servants. You're the king of, India as we know it. And yet, when your grandchild was in danger, you personally jumped without even having a second thought or sending anyone because you love your grandchild so much. Same way, Krishna loves us. And that's why, for his devotees, his dear devotees, he personally comes yuge yuge and he gives transcendental knowledge, establishes dharma, and kills the miscreants. And it was understandable. Aha, right? So, so here, Queen Kunti is appreciating that nature that you yourself personally come, to propagate the transcendental sides of devotional service into the hearts of the advanced transcendentalists and the mental speculators who are purified by being able to discriminate between matter and spirit. So only when we get spiritual knowledge, then we are able to distinguish between matter and spirit. Otherwise, for us, everything is matter and that's all we know, and that's where we try to derive happiness from. Right? Unless some Prabhuji comes and says, there is something called spirit. You're not this body, you're spirit soul, part of divine. Krishna is spiritual, and you're also spiritual, and you're that. You're not this. You're not dull, dead matter. You don't die. You're never born. Right? Once we know this, then it makes sense. So that's basically igniting the torchlight of knowledge within our mind. So it's important to understand that uh, this knowledge is the beginning of spirituality, the difference between matter and spirit. So we are purified by this spiritual knowledge, and then we can see things as it is. This is material, it's going to end, it's temporary. This is spiritual, it's permanent, it's divine. And we treat each other accordingly as spiritual beings, right? As divine beings. Next, anybody wants to read? Mother Neera, would you like to read?
Hare Krishna, may I?
Please, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah. Let me therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who has become the son of Vasudeva, the pleasure of Devaki, the boy of Nanda, and the other cowherd men of Vrindavan, and the enlivener of the cows and the senses.
Thank you so much, Mataji. This is a verse worth memorizing because it's referring to Krishna, very specifically Krishna and Vrindavan, right? This is not the Vasudev Krishna of Dwarka or Hastinapur, the politician Krishna. This is the Govinda Krishna, Krishna of Vrindavan, she's referring to. Krishnaya Vasudevaya, Devaki Nandanaya cha, Nanda Gopa Kumaraya, Govindaya Namo Namaha. So she's offering respect. So this is Krishna has, so Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but his mood is different in different places. In Dwarka, he is the king. He's, not as accessible as he is in Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, Krishna is most accessible. And for those of us going to Vrindavan, we will see that Krishna is very easily accessible in Vrindavan because he's not having that air of being a king and all that. He is accessible. He can play with you, can dance with you. If you love him, he'll do anything with you, right? He even makes us forget that he's God. In Vrindavan, if you try to even think he's God, he'll make you forget it. One time, the gopis were dancing with Krishna, and Shrimati Radharani, Krishna was holding Shrimati Radharani, and Radharani felt, I'm the most fortunate gopi in this entire universe. Krishna is holding me. It's not pride, but maybe there was something Krishna felt that, no, I don't like that attitude. So Krishna vanished. Radharani fell. And the gopis are looking for Krishna everywhere. Radharani is looking for Krishna everywhere. And Krishna is not to be found. He's vanished. And suddenly, seeing the eagerness of the gopis, Krishna appears in Narayan form, Shankha Chakra Gada Padma, and the gopis start paying their obeisances to Lord Narayan. They have no idea there's Krishna, right? They're like, my dear Lord Narayan, please help us fight Krishna. We can't live without Krishna. Even a moment of separation is destroying us. Please, Lord Narayan, help us find Krishna. And the yearning was so strong and so genuine and so intense that Krishna couldn't keep his four-armed form. He became two-armed and became Govinda Krishna. Right? So in Vrindavan, they don't even know he's God. They don't even care, right? His godlike nature and everything. They just love him for who he is. So that's a very special place. And that's why he's accessible and he's very intimate with his devotees in Vrindavan. And that's the Krishna that our Kunti Devi is referring to here. So Queen Kunti's prayers are very applicable to us because it's not some high, it is hi-fi, but it is referring to the Krishna that we worship, Vrindavan Krishna, most intimate Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Krishna. This is also another beautiful glorification of the Lord. Who wants the great privilege of reading this?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Please.
I'll try, Prabhu. Namaha Pankaja Nabhaya Namaha Pankaja Maline Namaha Pankaja Netraya Namaste Pankajan Graye. Translation. My respectful obeisances are unto you, O Lord, whose abdomen is marked with a depression like lotus flower, who are always decorated with garlands of lotus flowers, whose glance is as cool as the lotus, and whose feet are engraved with lotuses. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Here are some of the specific symbolical marks on the spiritual body of the personality of Godhead, which distinguish his body from the bodies of all others. They're all special features of the body of the Lord. How intimate is that? We get to know about how Krishna's body is. The Lord may appear as one of us, but he's always distinct by his very specific bodily features. Srimati Kunti claims herself unfit to see the Lord because of her being a woman. This is claimed because women, Shudras, and Dvijabandhus are unfit by intelligence to understand transcendental subject matter concerning the spiritual name, fame, and attributes, forms, etc. of the Supreme Absolute Truth. Such persons, although they are unfit to enter into the spiritual affairs of the Lord, can see him as the Archa Vigraha, who descend to the material but world just to distribute favors to the fallen souls, including the above mentioned women, Shudras, and Dvijabandhus. This can be very controversial, but let's focus on the intimate aspect of the Lord's features. Krishna, in his God form, this is what it looks like. And Kunti Devi is offering her respects to that form. Moving on. Next.
यथा ऋषिकेश फलेन देवकी कंसेन रुद्धति चीरं शुचार्पितां विमोचिताहं च सहात्मजा विभो त्वयैव नाथेन मुहुर्विपद्गणात्. O Rishikesha, master of the senses and lord of lords, you have released your mother Devaki, who was long imprisoned and distressed by the envious king Kans and me and my children from a series of constant danger.
So she's referring to him as Rishikesha, master of the senses, the lord of the lords. You have released your mother Devaki, who was long imprisoned and distressed by the envious king Kamsa, and me and my children, the Pandavas, right? Kunti Devi and Pandavas, from series of constant dangers. Lakshagriha, this, that, so many problems they have had to face. So in this case, she's referring to him as Rishikesha because when we go through difficulties, when we tolerate difficulties, at that point, the senses, controlling the senses, right? Controlling, tolerating those situations, and still being in bhakti, still managing our services, our seva is very, very important. Sometimes people break, when this happens. But Krishna will never give us a test that we can't hold up to. So Krishna is kind, he helps us become stronger, just like a fitness coach helps the person slowly, slowly gain endurance, gain strength by making it a little difficult, a little difficult. Krishna also sometimes does that with sincere devotees, makes the path a slightly little harder, so the faith gets slightly little stronger and more realizations come and everything. And sometimes we are like, Krishna, enough of this. Can I get a break, please? Right? And Krishna is like, okay, here is some Maya. And sometimes that might be even necessary. Honestly, this is not from scriptures. This is from my personal life experience. Sometimes the tests become so strong that I pray. I'm like, Krishna, okay, maybe I need a little break to get myself, heal myself, and then again I can walk on that path. And there's nothing wrong with that, because the one thing we should not be is fake in front of Krishna, because he's sitting in the heart. He knows, right? So just be shamelessly honest with your creator, with your love of your life, Krishna. Just be honest with him. My dear Krishna, this is where I am. This is who I am. I can't, at this point, be at that level of Kunti Devi or Ritu Maharaj, Ambarish Maharaj, and all. It's nice to read about them, but I'm doing my little inch by inch growth. Kindly help me. Kindly understand. I'm not, there yet, but I want you. I'm sincerely trying to be your devotee. I might not be a perfect devotee, but I'm trying. That melts Krishna's heart. He sees, oh, look at him, look at her, trying. Let me help. And Krishna empowers. That is bhakti. Bhakti is not about our own ability to withstand Maya. It's not our own ability to control our senses, to do all of that. That's Maya, in fact. When people are able to do that, it's like, I am this and I am that. But that's Maya, that's pride. Bhakti is, Krishna, I'm dependent on you. Please help me. Please allow me to move forward in this process towards your lotus feet. I am failing. I am falling. I am being punched in the face by Maya Devi. Will you kindly help me to move forward? And this surrender, this process of surrender, begging, depending on Krishna, this is bhakti. And this is a very sweet thing when Krishna reciprocates and he empowers and he gives inspiration and he gives us association. He gives us prasadam, he gives us the holy name, he gives us a guru, he gives us a mentor. And slowly, slowly, he walks us, he holds our hand and walks us through the difficult material creation, right? Material universe. That's when we feel, yes, Krishna is not just a theory in scriptures. Krishna is a person and he's personally present in my life. And he's there walking with me side by side through the ups and downs that life has to offer. Right? So Kunti Devi is sharing that today is a good day for her. Her sons have won. They're back on the throne. Everything is good. But she's not forgetting that this is the same Lord who helped her and her children through the series of constant dangers that the Kauravas put them through. Next verse, somebody wants to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Please go ahead.
Visanmagena Purushada Darshana Asat Sabhya Vanavasha Kricharata Mirde Mirde Aneka Maharatasrato Dronya Astrastas Chasma Hare Avirakshita. Translation. My dear Krishna, your lordship has protected us from a poisoned cake, from a great fire, from cannibals, from the vicious assembly, from sufferings during our exile in the forest, and from the battle where great generals fought. And now you have saved us from the weapon of Aswathama. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much. So this is called gratitude, right? Just because she has, all difficulties are over, it's not like, okay, moving on. She is remembering every single incident and naming them to Krishna, right? The poison cake that Bhima was fed, the Lakshagriha fire, the cannibal attack, the vicious assembly where Draupadi was disrobed, the sufferings during the exile, so many things they had to face during their exile when they were banished from their kingdom. And the Kurukshetra battle, where the best of the best fighters were on the side of Kauravas. All through and through, Krishna helped, and she's enlisting that. So when we pray to Krishna, we can also enlist some of our very, very difficult times that Krishna has helped us through. Like, my dear Krishna, you helped me through that difficult phase when I didn't have a job. You helped me through that difficult phase when I was going through a breakup. You helped me through that difficult phase when I was trying to figure out what career to choose. Whatever our little lives are, obviously Queen Kunti has, ginormous problems that Krishna helped her through. We have our small problems that Krishna has helped her through. And for us, these are big problems because we are small. For us, these problems are big, and we can always enlist them. And that brings in gratitude. Wow, Krishna did so much for me. What can I do for Krishna? How can I serve Krishna and his pure devotees, right? So it's nice to kind of go through that exercise following in the footstep of Kunti Devi. Next. Joy, would you like to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, yes, I'll read.
Hare Krishna.
विपदशन्तु ता शाश्वत तत्र तत्र जगद्गुरु भवतो दर्शनं यत् स्याद् अपुनर्भावदर्शनम्. Translation: I wish that all those calamities would happen again and again so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means that we will no longer see repeated births and deaths.
Hare Krishna. This is a very scary verse that many devotees get very, very scared to even read it, what to speak of praying like that. But Queen Kunti is different. Queen Kunti, to her, this palatial, glories and, being in the royal family and all that, if that means Krishna's leaving for Dwarka, that's not okay with her. She's been through horrible, horrible things by the Kauravas. She's seen her daughter-in-law being disrobed. She's seen her sons, going through the most difficulties. She's lived like a maidservant, being a queen by birth and by marriage. She's been a widow all her life. And that lady is saying, let those calamities happen again and again if it means seeing you again and again. That seeing Krishna is so much more important than the comforts of life. That is Queen Kunti's greatness. This one verse is the epitome of the entire prayer of Queen Kunti. And warning, caution, do not pray like this. There are devotees who have tried to emulate Queen Kunti and do this, and they have been through tremendous crisis. Do not pray to Krishna for more problems that we already have. We are not that level yet. Don't try to emulate. Don't try to copy Kunti Devi. We should follow in her footsteps. We should follow what she says, what she instructs, not do what she does, because she's at a different level. We can't tolerate such calamities. We don't have such tolerance, right? So it's important that we don't pray like this, but we should have appreciation what a pure devotee of Krishna looks like. A Queen Kunti who is asking for such calamities that one would not even survive one of them. She has been through so many of them, and she said, let them come. if it means seeing you again and again. When is she saying this? When all the calamities are done. Her son is the emperor, pretty much, unopposed emperor of the entire planet. She is at the epitome of her success as a mother, as a queen, as a royalty, anything you say. And at that point of time, people forget Krishna when good time comes. But at that point of time, she is saying, I remember what you did for me. You were always there for me. And I am okay with those moments coming again if it means seeing you again and again. Because seeing you again and again means no more repeated birth and death, no more suffering, right? Right? Seeing you again and again for seeing you means that there will be no longer seeing repeated births and deaths. This is very special. This is Queen Kunti for you. But don't pray like that yet. Okay, next verse.
I should read?
Please, go ahead.
Okay. जन्मैश्वर्य श्रुत श्रीभीर एधमान पुमान नैवार्हति अभि अभिधातुम वे त्वाम अकिंचन गोचरम. Translation: My lord, your lordship can easily be approached, but only those who are materially exhausted. One who is on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education, and bodily beauty, cannot approach you with sincere feeling. Oh, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. So, again, another verse which might be a little hard to digest for us entrepreneurs, but let's understand it. My lord, your lordship can easily be approached, but only by those who are materially exhausted. Now, materially exhausted doesn't mean you're a pauper, doesn't mean you're a beggar. It means you have everything and you use it in service to Krishna. You're not materially minded. You don't have material desires. You don't have material aspirations. You can use matter in service to the Lord. So one who's on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education, bodily beauty, cannot approach you with sincere feeling. Just give me 1 second. Sorry about that. So it is important that we know how to handle material opulence. Now, if you want to be materially opulent and be Krishna conscious at the same time, it is important that we have detachment from matter. Because, let's give an example of a brass or a silver bell. We use a bell to offer food to Krishna. It's a paraphernalia. We don't touch that bell without taking a shower. That bell is on the altar. The altar is also material. That bell is made of material element. The altar is made of material element. The picture or deity of Krishna is also made of material element. But they're all spiritualized because the understanding is everything is Krishna's and everything can be used for Krishna's service if they're spiritualized. Just like the iron rod can be magnetized by rubbing it with a magnet. Same way, material things can be spiritualized. So it is okay to have money, it's okay to have house, car, all the opulence, right? Ambarish Prabhu, he is the owner of Ford Motor Company. Gopal Bhatta Prabhu has 3 Ferraris. There are so many devotees like that, within the ISKCON community, who have resorts, who have hotels, who have, big businesses, who are running big corporates. I think the number 2 person in Emirate Airlines is the temple president of Damodar Desh, Dubai, right? The head of Emirates, or the second to head of Emirates. So you can be materially very opulent. You can be successful. You can be George Harrison, the Beatles. Crazy. People were crazy for them even today. So with all that, they were still Krishna conscious. What does it go to show? That we can handle matter as Krishna's gift and use it in service to Krishna without getting attached to it as mine, right? We take care of it as this is Krishna's, Krishna's, Krishna's. So we take care of it very nicely. We clean our car very nicely. We clean our house very nicely. Why? It's Krishna's property. If it was mine, I could still, okay, kind of be a little lethargic. But hey, it's Krishna's. It should be taken care of with 100% effort. And that's what makes, our lives very special. We do everything with excellence. Not because it's us, we are at the center, because Krishna is in the center. And that's an art and a skill to learn. This is bhakti. Bhakti means using matter in spiritual way and spiritualizing it. Then Krishna gives. Then yes, you know how to handle it. Matter won't destroy you. Otherwise, matter can destroy us. Money can destroy us. Power can destroy us. We see so many big politicians, falling down from, big saints falling down. Why? Because money, power, following. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam, va jagatisha kamaya. Right? Srila Prabhupada said the same thing, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. But look, Srila Prabhupada, he was able to create ISKCON. He went at 40 rupees and $400 million worth of temples by the time he finished, his journey. So Krishna provides. Krishna is giving this way, that way. Krishna will give. Point is, can we handle it? If it will destroy us, Krishna will not give it. If it will help us move towards the lotus feet, Krishna will give it. So it's important that we align ourselves to Krishna's lotus feet and know how to handle matter in a spiritual way without getting attached to I and mine, and rather seeing it as Krishna's and using it in a service. Thereby, we are able to be materially successful while having a complete spiritual vision. I want to pause here and see if there are any questions. Yes, Pradeep Prabhu. Expected you to only raise your hand.
Prabhuji, in this verse, the materially exhausted one. So I will repeat what I understood. Please correct me if I'm wrong. What you are saying is, whatever material things we have, if we dedicate it to Krishna, that means we are exhausted with the material aspect, and then only we can attain Lord, we can approach Lord. Am I right, Prabhuji?
To the degree you detach from matter, to that degree you can attach to Krishna. It's proportional. It's not like only when you're fully exhausted, you become Krishna conscious. No. Slowly, we detach from matter and we attach to Krishna. Detach as in, we don't say my house. We say this is Krishna has given me this house. Krishna has given me this car. So slowly, as we get detached from the understanding of the ego, the sense of I and my pride, rather than this is Krishna's gift and he can take it when he wants, he can give it when he wants, is rented from Krishna. To that degree, we're able to move towards Krishna.
But in this case, if we add more and more cars to our so is it like that? Means it is actually,
if it is required thing, for your service. Yes. I'll give a very simple example. When I was getting my second car in the US, I had a goal for something much more expensive than what I got. So I went to my mentor and I asked him, is it okay if I buy this expensive car? He said, why? I said, I don't know. It's safe. Safer, shock absorbers are better, this and that. He's like, okay, but how do you justify it in service? Do you really need such a car? Is safety really a concern, that much of a concern for you that you're willing to shell out this much amount of money? And I thought that I'm rationalizing it. Then I talked about a hybrid car, but this hybrid car was small and would not be able to fit into many people. So will it be connecting with my service? No, it'll just be able to carry me, 1 or 2, 3 people, but not much trunk space. Then I ended up with a car that is not cheap, not very expensive, but has a huge trunk space and can carry a lot of devotees. And then from my Krishna house, my mentees from IIT, I would be bringing them to the temple and back and forth. And the car was used in service to many of Prabhupada's disciples, bringing them from the airport and back and forth. So for service, this was the perfect car. So my mentor helped me make a decision based on what is needed for my service rather than what is needed for my ego, right? So if multiple cars are needed for your service, sure, go right ahead. If it is not needed, then it's ego worship. So based on that, rather than rationalizing it, we can take Vaishnava guidance.
Got it, Prabhuji. So it's a little difficult.
Detachment is hard. But then once you get detached, you feel free. There's a sense of relief. Yes, Julie.
So women wanting diamonds, how does that?
What is the mood behind a woman wanting diamonds, right? Is it to look pretty and get attention? Is it, hey, it's a nice thing to be a well-dressed woman. Krishna's pleased to see me this way. What's the mood? The same way I can say man going to a gym. The abs are for what purpose? So one can do some nice service, or one can show off, or one can carry Lord Jagannath. What is it for? So the intention is more important. It's what Krishna sees. And only women know what the diamonds are for.
From what I understand, probably there is a very thin line to it. And you actually need Vaishnava guidance to
because the mind
know
will rationalize.
whether, yeah. I mean, okay, thank you, Prabhu.
The mind is always going to rationalize and say, oh, this is okay. Lakshmi Devi wears all the jewelry and everything for her husband. I can also, but then is it for the husband? Is it for self-confidence? Is it for showing off? Is it for, what is it really for? And deep within, the answer is there, but Vaishnava guidance kind of brings out the truth. And you know what, for somebody, it might be that I want to be seen. I want ego. I want people to appreciate me. And that's important for me. And that's okay. We're not pure devotees. We're trying to be pure devotees. We're not there yet. So unnecessary suppression is also not a good thing. It will make us depressed. And when we're depressed, how can we chant nicely? So it's important that we don't overdo either way. We know what the truth is. We tell Krishna, hey, Krishna, this is where I am. This is my requirement. I need recognition. I need to be seen. And this is why I do what I do. Krishna understands and helps us go beyond.
But then what if it is only simple plain desire? Like there is no need, there is no agenda behind it. It's just desire. What does one do with that?
It's desire. You just tell Krishna, Krishna, I want this just because. Sita Devi said, I want that deer, the golden deer. Please get it for me, Lord Ram. And Lord Ram went to get the golden deer.
But that's
There's
not
no
wrong.
reason for it. She just wanted it. It's desire. Sorry, I cut you off. Please tell me. You were saying something.
No, I was asking, is that wrong or right?
It's not wrong or right. It's just what it is. There is no such thing as wrong or right. There are actions and consequences. There are things we do that speed us towards Krishna, and there are things that we do that slow us down in our path towards Krishna. There are things we do that inspire us in Krishna consciousness. There are things we do that puts us down, puts us away from Krishna. Many people have left ISKCON. Oh, I feel claustrophobic. I can't do this. I can't eat this. I can't eat that. Right? So is that really preaching? If the preacher is creating claustrophobia for the devotee? No. One must feel happy and enlivened and inspired to move. And for that, without breaking the regulative principles, what is required at whatever stage one goes. Now, of course, the mentor will guide you. Hey, it's time that you cut down a little bit on the eating sweets part. Maybe it's time to cut down a little bit on this part and that part. And slowly, one learns to detach. One learns to, bring in austerities and other things. Does it answer your question, Joy?
Yes, partly, I suppose.
Okay,
Thank you.
No. Tell me which part it doesn't answer.
No, I was just recently reading Ishopanishad, and in that, um, the invocation verse says Krishna is whole and we are also complete. Only thing is that we don't see the completeness because of the material nature on the soul. So when we have these desires, I also asked my mentor, when you have these desires, and if you are supposed to derive yourself being whole, or you want to remember that you are wholesome, you have to dovetail all your actions to Krishna, like you said. But not all desires can be dovetailed, and or maybe they can, but you think that you will be able to dovetail your desire to Krishna, but it can so happen that in the future it may not be, and then maybe you will fall down in your spiritual practice. So there is a thin line that when you're making the decision that whether I should act on this desire or not, it's difficult.
It's kind of seeing like, can I act on this and survive in my Krishna conscious journey, or will this pull me down? Should I not act on this, and will it make me depressed and I'll not be able to survive in my Krishna conscious journey? End of the day, it is about what will bring me closer to Krishna. If
Correct.
acting on it will take me closer to Krishna, so be it. If not acting on it, so be it. But then we don't have the strength of the heart, weakness of the heart. Hridaya durbalyam. I can't. I'm too addicted to blah, 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 whatever it is. Okay, take your time. Little by little, little by little, little by little. Right. It's a work in progress. But the desire is there. Krishna, I want you fully, wholly.
Yes. Okay.
It helps.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Yes, Kaushik Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Dhanavad Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Actually, I have that question: how to get more attachment with Krishna, and how to increase
Get
that
more attached to Krishna
attachment.
by hearing, by chanting, and by association. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, and Sadhu Sangha. So when you associate with devotees who are very attached to Krishna, you also get attached to Krishna. How do you associate with such devotees? You are very fortunate. You have access to YouTube. You can watch Srila Prabhupada's lectures. Prabhupada is very attached to Krishna. And by hearing Prabhupada's lectures, by associating with his Vani, you will also develop attachment for Krishna. By chanting Krishna's holy name, you'll attract Krishna's mercy. By hearing about Krishna Katha, you will be able to understand Krishna and develop affection for Krishna. So by this process of chanting, hearing about Krishna, remembering Krishna, and associating with Krishna's pure devotees and their representatives, you will be able to develop attachment for Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. And second question is, like when I am going to, when I was in temple, or like when I am associating with devotees, that time I feel enthusiastic, or I feel energetic, like I'm doing something spiritual things. But when when I'm going back to my home, or I am in work, that time I'm like materially involving. So that time I felt that I'm something like detached with Krishna, like spirituality. So how it will be means how it will be consistent?
So have some rituals. When you go to work or go home, have a small prayer. My dear Krishna, I want to remember you. Because of you, I have this job. Because of you, I have this ability with which I work and I get a salary. Without you, I wouldn't be able to do it. I'm so grateful to you. Thank you, Krishna. Have a picture of Krishna or have something that reminds you of Krishna throughout the day. Like Vrindavan, wherever you go, Shri Radhe, Shri Radhe, Shri Radhe, temples, devotees. So, like that, in your work, in your home, if you have a picture of Krishna, if you have a writing of Bhagavad Gita verse or something, something that reminds you, so throughout the day, have a ritual. Before eating, Mahaprasade Govinde, you're remembering Krishna. When you're drinking water, Rasoham Apsakantiya, Prabhasmi Shurya, you're quoting Bhagavad Gita, right? Like that, build a lifestyle where Krishna is a part of your life, where every activity has a Krishna conscious angle to it. So these small rituals create that atmosphere where you're constantly reminded of Krishna. You're grateful to Krishna, how awesome is Krishna is providing you all these opportunities and everything. Thereby, you'll remember Krishna all the time. And once this habit becomes a part of you, it'll be second nature. You're always remembering Krishna. You're always seeing things in terms of Krishna consciousness. You see a beautiful person, you say, wow, Krishna must be so beautiful if his creation can be so beautiful. You see the sun and you think, wow, Krishna's Brahmajyoti's little spark can be so powerful. What must be Krishna's Brahmajyoti like, Krishna's effulgence like, right? So like that, everything will remind you of Krishna. So make it a mechanistic habit, ritualistic habit initially. Eventually, it'll become a part of your nature.
I have another question, Bro. Actually, that when when some devotees are doing seva, and because of my work, sometimes I can't do that. So I feel guilty that I can't doing seva.
Don't feel guilty. Your work is
So
also seva. Do your work. That's what I'm telling you. When you're praying to Krishna, because of you have the ability with which I can do this work from which I get salary. So that work, you're devotionalizing it. Just like that metal bell, you're making it spiritual. It's metal, it's material. So work becomes spiritual. So that is seva. So saying yes to, you're doing seva. It's not like work is separate and somebody gives you a seva, that's a seva. See the work as worship. And it's completely okay to say no to somebody who's giving you seva. Don't feel guilty about it because this is service. You're giving time here. You don't have time for that other service. That's okay. Do you
and
understand,
sometimes
Kaushik?
yes, Prabhu, I understand. But sometimes, I understand that I have to depend on Krishna. I want to remember
Not
every time.
sometimes, always.
No, always. Sorry, always. So when problems comes or situation like that, it will come. That time, Krishna will not remember in my mind. So what can I do in that?
Make it a habit that when you later on think, oh, I could have remembered Krishna, but I didn't. What a lost opportunity. Next time, hit yourself in the head. Next time, when there's a problem, let my first thought go to Govinda, please help. Right? Next time. So then maybe you'll fail next time. Maybe next time again, you'll hit yourself hard. When there's a problem, first thought should be, Krishna, please help me. Right? So like that, life is full of problems. Don't worry. You'll have plenty, God forgive. I hope you don't have any problems, but material life is such that you will. So you make yourself a point. The next time I have an opportunity, I'll remember Krishna. And then you practice that, and you deepen that, and you deepen that, and it gets better. It's all about practice. Just like going to the gym, just like learning how to drive a car, just like anything in life, it's about practice. Slowly, it becomes nature. Yes?
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Most welcome. Pradeep Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, this text 26 is actually Kunti Mataji's statement. So, what I want to ask that this is Kunti Mataji's feeling towards Krishna. So, shall we take it as as if Krishna has validated this statement, or we should understand it in a way that Kunti Mataji is feeling that way?
No. Kunti Mataji is a pure devotee. She will not speak something that is not scriptural. Her words are as good as scripture. That's why it's in the Shrimad Bhagavatam. It is being mentioned by Sutta Goswami, mentioned by Shukadeva Goswami, compiled by Vyasadeva for a reason. Because these are the things that guide our life. This is as good as scripture. It is scripture.
Right, Prabhuji.
But it's important to understand, she's saying materially exhausted, and yet she's a queen. Highest material strata she's sitting on. So it's not just not having anything, right? It's about the detachment from the idea of I and mine.
Right. She have material wealth, but she detached from that material wealth. That is the point.
She sees
I
the
understood that. Yeah.
Krishna's gift.
Yes.
Yeah.
But my next question is that if does this mean that if we have some material thing and we cannot use, we don't have, we don't know how to use it in Krishna's service. So is it good to just जस्ट उसे छोड़ देना, मटेरियल थिंग को छोड़ देना, यही सही है?
We are not about leaving anything. If you don't know how to use it, ask somebody who knows. Of course, if it is a wine bottle, how do you use it to service to Krishna? So you gift it to somebody who might appreciate it, right? But most things have use for the Supreme Lord. If they don't have use, then yeah, you can get rid of them. Like cluttered. Sometimes our house is filled with ugly mess, empty boxes, empty this, yeah, it's good to throw things away. But if something has emotional value, sentimental value, why throw it away? It might not be used in service to Krishna, but it has emotional value to someone. Throwing it away might hurt that person. And that will be detrimental for their Krishna consciousness. So that's the use.
So some people are actually leaving homes and going to some traditional, means they are getting into a traditional setup. Like मतलब ये सब विलेज लाइफ अडॉप्ट कर रहे हैं कृष्णा कॉन्शियस के साथ.
I've talked to you about this before. You and I are not built for that.
Okay, Prabhuji.
We need our hot
So,
water,
are
we
they
need our
doing
air
this-
conditioning, we need our internet, we need access to Zepto, Zomato, all these things. Please, you can still do Krishna consciousness sitting in a city. Prabhupada went to New York City for a reason. The height of materialistic opulence, that's where he went to preach. To show that it's possible for even the most richest of people to become Krishna conscious, having all the facilities in their disposal.
Just like Kunti Mataji. She has
Just
all
like
the
Kunti
material
Mataji,
wealth.
just like Prithu Maharaj, just like Prahlad Maharaj, just like Yudhishthir Maharaj, all these personalities.
Right. Right, Prabhuji.
Resources allow
Thank
you to
you.
serve Krishna better. When you're a leader of society, you're opulent, you have credentials, you have credibility, people trust you. When you say Krishna is God, Krishna is God. Today I went to Ramakrishna Mission to speak. They invited me because of my credentials. If they would never invite a ISKCON devotee, right? But they invited me and I spoke Bhagavad Gita. I spoke about the ins and outs of Bhagavad Gita principles today. And that's because credentials is important. Going to the village, yes, for some people who are very sattvic, who are very brahminical, let them enjoy that. You and I are entrepreneurs. We like challenge, we like to fight, we are Rajasic, and that's how we serve Krishna in our own sweet way. Yes?
Got it, Prabhuji. Got it. Got it.
All right. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Srila Prabhupada
Hare
ki
Krishna.
jai, Shrimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.